On December 22nd, 2022, Alexander Woods, also known as Big Scar, one of the rising top artists in Memphis, was found unconscious by his girlfriend and later pronounced dead by paramedics in Memphis, Tennessee, man. A couple days later, on January 8th, 2023, Xandra Woods, Big Scar's sister, had some words to say about the CEO of 1017 Records, Gucci Mane, and that he wanted to get the chains back from Big Scar after he died, man. It's something that I have never even heard in my whole time researching hip-hop. Someone dying and then asking for the chains back that you were given when you were signed to the label, man, that is only the sign of someone struggling. And if you haven't been paying attention, really, the last couple years have been a struggle for the 1017 label, man. From its jump all the way till now, I've never seen a label where almost its whole roster is either dead or in jail, man. One of the most interesting and saddest stories in the hip-hop of current day, man. But we gotta talk about 1017 and how it became the worst label in hip-hop, man. Let's get into it. But before we do, I'm gonna need y'all to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna run up this video. Make sure y'all check out the merch too. Link in the description at staysafeworld.com, man. Even if you don't cop anything, make sure to go check it out and support the channel, man. Let's go. You know, Big Scar's death is a big deal for this label because Big Scar was one of the only artists that was not in jail, that was kind of putting on for the label, taking up the heat that was needed to be dropped in order to keep the label even moving, man. And that is crazy to even think about because back when this label was founded, everyone thought that this shit was the best thing since sliced bread, man. I'm not even joking. The new 1017 Records, also known as 1017 Global Music Group, formerly 1017 Brick Squad, is an American record label founded by Gucci Mane after his departure from Mizay Entertainment and closing of So Icy. The label was home to Rallo, Hoop Rich Pablo Juan, Waka Flocka Flame, OJ the Juice Man, Pooh Shiesty, Big Scar, Fujiato. Man, it was a whole bussin' label with hella even people. They even signed one of the first bisexual rappers in Lil Wop, man. So you know that they were trying to make history. So basically this label was kind of like an experiment because Gucci went and he founded his first independent label, So Icy Entertainment, after his signing in Mizay Entertainment. On May 4th, 2010, he announced that he was closing So Icy Entertainment and leaving Mizay Entertainment due to business concerns with Deborah Atney. Gucci then stated that he was starting his own record label, 1017 Brick Squad, that his employer, Jerry Alvarado, was already signing a distribution deal with Asylum Records. While still signed to Mizay Entertainment, OJ the Juice Man and Waka Flocka were the first artists of 1017 Brick Squad. But little did they know, the Waka Flocka situation is the beginning. Man, it all kind of starts, the first signs of this label being sus in 2013 when Gucci Mane tweeted that he dropped Waka Flocka Flame and that Waka was no longer a member of 1017 Brick Squad. The next day, Gucci's management claimed his Twitter account was hacked and he did not send the tweet about Waka Flocka. However, Waka would claim this to be false and later dissed Gucci Mane at a Dipset reunion concert in New York City. On March 27, 2013, Waka told MTV that it would be impossible for him to be dropped from 1017 Brick Squad as he owns a stake in the company. He also confirmed that there was indeed a feud going on with the rappers, that they would never make music or do business together. Gucci Mane would go on to say fuck Brick Squad and accuse his former manager, Waka Flocka's mom, Deborah Atney, of stealing money from OJ the Juice Man and Frenchie. Frenchie also accused Gucci Mane of paying for Young Vito's lawyer to accuse murder of former 1017 Brick Squad artist Slim Duncan, which Gucci denied. Then Frenchie released a diss track toward Gucci the following day. Man, so let me get this straight. Basically, this man dissed another dude's mom, said she was stealing money when it was his label in the first place, and then he pays for the lawyer of someone who was his artist's op that got killed. And man, it's just an all-around crazy situation. But this is just the start of the crazy shit that be going on within the 1017 record label world, man. Imagine being signed to this. It's one thing this being like a street group and these niggas just doing shit in the streets, but this is supposed to be a legitimate business That's the whole point of doing this in the first place, man. We then start moving into, you know, further into today. The original 1017 was sort of more like super hood rappers, and then it sort of changed focus. Not saying that it was like less hood rappers, but they started investing in other people that were more trendy and more catchy, like Hood Rich Pablowan and Lil Wak. And Gucci Mane rebranded his label 1017 Global Music LLC and got a partnership venture with Alamo Empire Distribution. That's where he sort of had like a couple of breakthrough artists that went super well. But then we all know the story of what happened next with those artists. Man, first we got Hood Rich Pablowan, which ended up getting caught up in a RICO. That's another artist that he had that ended up being in jail. On top of that, we got Lil Wak, who ended up coming up as bisexual and ended up saying fuck Gucci Mane. In a tweet dated on February 28, 2022, Lil Wak went to say, "I'm not signed to 1017. I got out of my contract with them in 2018. I don't fuck with Gucci Mane. He's a weirdo," he says. And even though he's fallen off tremendously since he first came up, it's a constant theme here, man. Weirdo behavior, people be going behind people's back, all types of shit. Not to mention all the artists that he discovered lately that sort of popped off, all ended up getting in jail, man. One of the biggest, if not the biggest artist that he had at the time was Pooh Shiesty, who ended up getting into jail for multiple reasons, including gun charges, shooting a dude, having a robbery filmed. Man, it was a crazy time in the 1017 universe. But moving on from there, we got Ola Runt, who's currently in jail, hasn't been coming out ever since. We got Fujiano, who was in jail for the longest, man. And the only person that really was holding it down currently was Big Scar, who just died of an overdose. And then his newest signee that was supposed to hold the label down, Matt Critter, just got arrested for a murder last week. Man, it's a constant theme. From artists getting out of the deal saying fuck this guy, to artists catching bodies and killing people, to artists robbing people on camera. Man, it's a crazy ass label that currently is going on. I feel like Gucci Mane definitely needs to get some type of credit for, you know, putting us onto these street artists. Maybe earlier on, like Waka Flocka, less so the Pooh Shiesties and the Big Scars and all those type of people, because they honestly came out later in a time where labels weren't really needed as much, and they would have probably been big regardless of having a label or not. If you look at the grand scheme of things, you could make an argument that Gucci Mane basically invests in street rappers, and that's kind of the reason why they all have an ultimately demise that is either jail or dying or overdosing, you know? But at the same time, like I said in previous videos, it just because they come from the streets doesn't mean that they have to end up dying or going to jail or something like that, you know? Because it's like, there's plenty of other artists that came from the same places and end up succeeding. Obviously it's harder, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible. Part of it is guidance. If Gucci Mane took the time to guide these young black men that came from the streets, they would probably not end up in the situations that they've been in. Gucci Mane should know out of everyone that drugs and gang life in the streets are ultimately going to end up taking you nowhere, man. Gucci Mane spent a number of years addicted to drugs, you know, cheating on his girlfriend, acting wild in the streets, spent a number of years in jail, and has the past to know where that lifestyle leads. Obviously, he can't force these artists to go and live another life. They have to ultimately make the decision themselves. But if you give them the guidance that they need, lead them the way, teach them investing, invest in real estate, invest in the stock market, invest in other artists, maybe sign your own artists and make your own independent labels, you know, and have a subsidiary or a partnership with Gucci Mane. Y'all can all make more bread in the end. But Gucci Mane obviously didn't do that because all his artists ended up in jail, which is the saddest part. It seems like he just gave them money, told them to make the money back, and basically gave them a loan with no help whatsoever, man. Neglected his own artists to the point where they all end up dying. This is one of the worst problems that you could possibly possibly having a label. And a lot of labels honestly have that problem. Look at Empire, that's another one, man. But at the same time, I've never seen a label where nearly the entire cast is in jail, man. So it's obviously something is fundamentally wrong with this label. And ultimately, it's probably not going to be any type of change anytime soon, because a lot of people don't know about the record industry. The knowledge isn't really out there. I mean, it's accessible through the internet, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to understand, and these labels kind of make it purposefully hard to understand. So the average person that doesn't have any like schooling background or comes from a broken schooling background won't possibly understand anything besides the fact that they're getting money to make music, man. But a lot more comes with that shit. And as you see, Gucci Mane doesn't really lead his artists into a positive direction, man. So it's going to be difficult to see the 1017 succeed in the future. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully they do and sign someone that takes over and is able to make a major trend. Hood Rich Papa Juan is getting out soon, so maybe that will help something. But until then, man, that's all we know. Real say shit. You already know what's going on. Make sure you like, comment,